Masai Mara Savannah, Kenya, August 2023. At dawn, with the mist still enveloping the hills and the long shadows of the acacia trees, a team of zoologists from the Nyota Research Center releases one of the fastest predators on the planet, a cheetah named Eno. He has been nursing for 6 months after being injured in a collision with poachers. The animal has a compact GPS tracker, the Sentinel 3M model, around its neck. This is a new development that can record not only coordinates, but also body temperature, pulse, breathing rate, and even behavioral patterns. We wanted to see how well Eno would adapt to the wild after being in captivity, says Dr. Grace Wangi, a leading expert on big cat behavior. But no one expected that this experiment would change the course of an investigation that would shake up the entire country. A few days after the release, the cheetah adapted, going hunting in the Talak River area. Data from the tracker confirmed Eno is in excellent shape. But on August 11th, communication with the device was interrupted for 7 hours. When the signal returned, scientists were amazed. Instead of moving within its range, the cheetah had traveled more than 60 kilometers and was near the human settlement of Olburgani, in an area that locals call the Dead Savannah. This area is a closed zone known for years for the activities of criminal groups involved in poaching and human trafficking, explains Captain Silas Amondo, a representative of the Wildlife Protection Service. The next day, police received a call from the parents of an 8-year-old girl, Amani Mutua. She had disappeared while walking near a volunteer camp. No trace, no witnesses. 2 days after his disappearance, Eno reappeared in the camera's frame, this time 200 meters from where the child had disappeared. His behavior was unusual. The animal stood for a long time, studying the surroundings, making circles and occasionally returning to the same spot. Analysis of the tracker logs showed that Eno's pulse was elevated, as if during a chase. But neither the chase nor the prey was detected nearby. Based on the data, the researchers calculated the cheetah's route and noticed that it wasn't chaotic. It seemed like it was looking for something, or someone. This was the first time we decided to use wild animal data for a search operation, admits Dr. Wanki. They informed the local police about Eno's strange behavior and the coordinates of his last stop, on the southern slope of Segera Hill, 14 kilometers from Olburgani. At dawn on August 14th, a special group of 4 reserve employees and 2 officers set out for the designated point. Having climbed the ridge, they saw Eno. The animal did not run away. On the contrary, it stood motionless, looking intently in the direction of the acacia thickets. As we approached, he started moving slowly, and then suddenly took off, but he didn't run away. He ran forward, looking around as if calling after him, recalls Officer Obira. The cheetah led them to a small gorge. From behind the rocks, a faint sound was heard. It was the voice of a child. In the shadow of a rocky outcrop among broken branches and a rope net, lay a little girl. She was weak but alive. Her hands were tied and her mouth was taped shut. Officer Albiera immediately rushed to her aid. She was conscious. Her eyes were wide open, full of fear. But when she saw Eno, she calmed down. It seemed like she had seen him before, recalls Captain Amondo. After freeing the girl, the group surveyed the area. About 400 meters away in the forest, they found an abandoned camp. Charred firewood, canned food with labels in Amharic, several plastic crates similar to those used to transport animals. But most importantly, one of the crates was lined with a child's blanket. The tracks led west, where Eno had also been moving a few hours earlier. The GPS confirmed that the animal had run past the camp multiple times. The National Police declared a state of emergency in the region. A mobile command post was deployed, but Eno disappeared from radar. His last signal was in the direction of an abandoned farm near the Ewaso Nyiro River. When the reconnaissance team went there, they saw a familiar picture, a cheetah standing at the gate. Eno didn't growl, he didn't run, he didn't attack. He waited. When officers entered the premises, they found 3 men preparing to flee. One of them was injured. According to the doctor, his body was covered in scratches and bites typical of predators. 2 more cages were found inside the building, which had just been emptied. In one of them, another boy was found, the 9-year-old son of a local nurse who had disappeared 3 weeks earlier. It was incredible. An animal that we thought was just a research subject was actually doing the work of a scout, says Lieutenant Catacomb. Eno's behavior has interested experts from all over the world. Scientists from the Center for Cognitive Zoology in Pretoria analyzed his movement. The cheetah was not just moving randomly, the routes indicated patrolling. He inspected the same areas, returned to observation points, and kept a safe distance. The tracker recorded an increase in heart rate when Eno approached people with weapons, but the animal did not run away. It remained at a safe distance and followed. This behavior is not typical for predators, even socialized ones. Some experts have suggested that the cheetah was detecting the scent of fear or stress. Others have suggested that Eno associated the children's cries with danger, remembering an emotional connection with the volunteers and shelter staff. But there was one unexpected element. In February 2023, while Eno was still undergoing rehabilitation, his daily companion was Amani, who comes from a family of local zoologists. She spent time with the cheetah, read to him, sat next to him while he ate, and even gave him a name. "I know it sounds like a fairy tale," says Dr. Wangi, but maybe Eno just hadn't forgotten her. Maybe when he heard her voice or smelled her, he recognized her and came back. Following the arrest, police discovered that one of the kidnappers was linked to a transnational human trafficking network. Their route began at a border crossing in Somalia and led through several temporary camps in Kenya. Eno actually helped identify not just the kidnappers, but part of a large criminal structure. The public reaction was explosive. News channels called Eno a cheetah detective, and BBC Africa did a special report, how a predator helped expose a child trafficking ring. The phone at the Nyota shelter was ringing. Calls came in from journalists, government officials, and researchers from all over the world. UNESCO representatives asked if it was possible to study Eno's full route in order to adapt it for search missions. At the same time, the data from the tracker was analyzed by an international team of neurophysiologists, pathologists, and animal behavior experts. The most striking were the moments when Eno deliberately left hunting grounds and headed in directions associated with human activity. His route through desert areas with minimal water availability was counterintuitive for survival. But he returned there again and again. August 17th, the cheetah disappeared from radar again. After 22 hours, the signal appeared on the slope of Mount Lolparik, where abandoned traps had been found earlier. This time, Eno stayed there for a long time, almost a day and a half. "As if guarding the place," says Captain Amando. But from whom? When the reconnaissance team arrived at the site, they discovered a strange structure, an old military bunker hidden under a slope. Inside were plastic bags of children's clothes, leftover food, and monitors showing surveillance cameras. Eno was captured on one of the videos. He stood in front of the camera, almost motionless, and then started scratching the ground. Later, a USB flash drive with videos of the kidnappings was found buried in that very place. "This is already beyond instincts. It looks like intention," says Dr. Eric Schlosser, a behavioral neuroscientist from Munich. Biologists who were previously skeptical of the anthropomorphization of animals are beginning to reconsider. A team from the University of Pretoria compared the brain activity of cheetahs that had been in contact with humans with those that remained in the wild. Eno showed higher levels of activity in areas related to memory and orientation. August 20th, Eno last made contact. The tracker recorded his presence in a deep canyon near the Susva River. The signal did not move for 36 hours. A rescue team went there. In the gorge, they found a cheetah. Eno was lying on the rocks. His hind paw was injured, probably during a fight. Around him, traces of a struggle. Broken branches, marks of heavy shoes, drops of blood. Next to Eno was a semi-conscious man. His neck was scratched and his shoulder was bitten. It turned out that he was the last of the kidnappers who had tried to hide. But the cheetah had found him first. The man had a knife, a GPS beacon, and a map with markers on his body. Police suspect that these were plans for a new round of kidnappings. Eno was rescued. He was taken to the Nyota shelter clinic, where he underwent treatment for several weeks. During this time, his condition was broadcast live. More than 3 million viewers from different parts of the world followed his recovery. After his recovery, the Kenyan government awarded Eno a special decoration, the Medal of Courage. His portrait now adorns the central entrance to the national park. When Eno recovered, his fate became the subject of heated debate, whether to leave him in the wild or make him an official wild agent as part of a state security program. For the first time in history, the Ministry of Wildlife Conservation and the Ministry of Home Affairs of Kenya held a joint press conference. The Eno is not just an animal. It is a symbol of a new era, a symbiosis between wildlife and technology, said Defense Minister Samuel Kibwa. "We will create an integrated environmental security program. Cheetahs, lions, even elephants with trackers can see more than we can with drones. Nature is able to conduct reconnaissance where humans cannot operate openly." Based on Nyota, they began developing algorithms that would analyze animal behavioral anomalies in real time. This became the basis for the creation of the Earth-Eye system, which allows identifying potentially dangerous areas based on the reactions of wild animals. The system was implemented in 4 national parks. In 6 months, it helped detect 3 illegal poaching camps before rangers could intervene. And the cheetah became a major research object for zoologists and neuroscientists. In October 2023, Eno returned to the spot where Amani was found for the first time. His route was recorded minute by minute, almost exactly repeating the same stops as during the search for the girl. But there was one difference. On the top of the cliff towering above the gorge, Eno stood for a long time, turning to the west. At this moment, the GPS recorded a very low level of stress, complete silence in the body. This meant the cheetah did not feel threatened, but it was not resting either, as if waiting. There, volunteers noticed him. Eno didn't react. Then he slowly moved down and disappeared into the forest. After 20 minutes, the sound of a child crying was recorded nearby. Scouts have found a teenage boy from Tanzania who they had been searching for 3 days. He disappeared while crossing the border with his family. He was kidnapped by human traffickers, but they were afraid of being chased and left the boy tied up in the bushes. Scientists have tried to find a scientific explanation for the phenomenon. Theories have ranged from enhanced associative memory to an extremely rare form of intuitive guidance. But most agreed, Eno had the ability to combine places, smells, sounds, and past experiences into a single, complete pattern, and used it in his behavior. After 2 more similar incidents, the cheetah received the official status of nationally protected animal. He was allocated a territory of 150 square kilometers, where he could live freely, but all his movements were tracked in real time by a team from the Nyota Center. Anytime Eno left the boundaries, they began analyzing his route. Amani has since fully recovered. She has become a symbol of the Rural Child Protection Program. In honor of her rescue, the Eno Academy Educational Center was created, where children are taught to read, write, and recognize danger signals in the wild. In the classroom, there is a large painting on the wall. Eno stands against the sunset, and at his feet is a little girl in a red dress. The drawing was made by Amani herself. In January 2024, an incident occurred that once again shocked the public. Eno disappeared. The signal from the tracker stopped for 48 hours. The team headed in the direction of his last coordinates. They found him alive, but nearby was the body of a young woman wrapped in cloth. She was a local school teacher who had disappeared a week earlier. Later, forensic experts confirmed that death had occurred a day before Eno arrived. Cheetah did not kill. He protected. He lay down next to me and stayed there until people came. I don't know what he knows, says Dr. Owangi. But Eno is not just an animal. He feels something, and he acts, and we have no right to ignore it. Spring 2024. Nyota Sanctuary celebrates its 5th anniversary, and at the same time officially announces the launch of the International Wild Sentinel program. Its goal is to integrate next-generation GPS trackers with artificial intelligence algorithms that analyze wild animal behavior in real time. At the center of the system is Eno the cheetah. Its movements became the basis for machine learning. The algorithm studies movement patterns, reaction speeds, delays at certain points, routes that contradict the survival instinct. Eno became a reference animal, a model for deciphering hidden threats in wild areas. In May 2024, something that seemed impossible happened. An emergency occurred in the border region between Kenya and South Sudan. An entire caravan of volunteers disappeared, including student Amani, now a conservation volunteer. Search drones have yielded no results. Communication has been cut off. Radars are silent. And only one source, Eno's tracker, has shown something strange. The cheetah has suddenly left its territory and moved in a northeasterly direction, where the temperature reaches plus 47 degrees Celsius in summer. The Wild Sentinel system detected that Eno had returned to a place he had never been before, and stopped for 13 hours. The team went there. It was a gorge not marked on the maps. At the bottom was a hidden entrance to a tunnel. Behind it was an iron room. Inside were 5 people, among them Amani. They had been without food and water for almost 2 days. The ventilation system had failed. The coordinates for the signal had been jammed. The only one who found it was the cheetah. After the rescue, Amani said, "I wasn't afraid. I knew he would come." Because he had already done it, scientists continue to study the phenomenon. It turned out that cheetahs, in particular Eno, have a higher density of nerve endings in the brain area, responsible for cartographic memory and spatial navigation. But even this does not explain why Eno only reacted to cases of human danger. Its tracker recorded almost no fear, even during clashes with armed men. The heart activity system showed that the cheetah remained calm even when shots rang out. It's like he has a mission, says journalist Laura Kamau in the documentary, The Predator Who Became a Hero, which will receive the African Storytelling Award. In June 2024, a memorial will be opened near the main entrance to the Masai Mara Park. A bronze statue of a cheetah stands against a background of a map, where all of Eno's routes are illuminated. Next to it are the names of those rescued. There are 19 people in total. Among them, children, teachers, researchers, journalists. The inscription on the plaque under the sculpture reads, "It's different. He didn't speak, but he heard us." Today, Eno is alive. He is approximately 9 years old. He lives in an open area with access to wildlife, but returns to the Science Center on his own every week. He was last seen on a hill overlooking the Olburgani Valley, where it all began. He stood. He watched. Then he turned and disappeared into the shadows of the acacias. Dr. Fernakino Wangi, looking through binoculars, whispered, "Maybe he's just a cheetah, or maybe more. But I know one thing, if he comes back again, someone, somewhere, will need help."